حماس حركة مؤسسية.
Hamas is a movement of institutions. It has respected leadership. All the members of Hamas, whether in the political or armed wing, are disciplined. The Israelis, the Egyptians, and the American administration know this. Otherwise, John Kerry would not have intervened this time.
President Obama said it is irresponsible of Hamas to fire their rockets from civilian neighborhoods. That's what you're doing. Why do you do it when you know civilians are going to die?
انظر إلى النتيجة.
Look at the results. How many Israeli civilians were killed? Israel know the number, while how many Palestinian civilians Israel has killed? It killed up to this minute 1,700 martyrs, while we killed by Israel admission 63 soldiers. We kill soldiers while they kill Palestinian civilians.
But because you're firing your rockets from civilian neighborhoods, that's where you're firing your rockets from. Your rockets are fired, Israel says, indiscriminately to civilian areas, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem. President Obama says you're firing your rockets from civilian neighborhoods, and you know what that means, that you will have high civilian casualties. Critics are saying that the only reason that you're doing this is so that you get the international outpouring of international sympathy because of the high civilian casualties.
It is unfortunate that the U.S. administration and the President Obama have adopted the Israeli narrative, which is a lie. Hamas sacrifices itself for its people and does not use its people as a human shield to protect its soldiers. These are lies, and Hamas does not seek international sympathy through its own victims.
What are you prepared to do to get a ceasefire? Are you prepared to destroy your tunnels? Are you prepared to stop firing rockets at Israel? Are you prepared to accept the right of Israel as a state to exist?
نحن مستعدون للهدنة كما قلت لك.
We are ready for a ceasefire. We don't want war. We want the war to end today. We did not attack anyone. It was Netanyahu who transferred the crisis that took place in the West Bank on June 12th to Gaza. He is responsible for this. We are ready to stop this war, and we want a ceasefire.
Well, are you ready to stop building rockets? Are you ready to stop firing rockets?
I will answer you. I will answer you. Why are there our demands only on the Palestinian people to get rid of their modest and simple weapons, but no similar demands on Israel, the occupying state? We are ready to discuss the removal of weapons.
But you have the Israelis say you're firing them indiscriminately at Israeli civilians. That's what you're using those weapons for. When they're not firing at you, you're firing at them. That's how this
Israel is the one who started this aggression, and it is Israel who is killing civilians. I explained to you in detail what Israel is doing in Gaza in killing civilians.
There was a stability there. There was a stability. There was a peace. There was a period recently when there were no rockets.
Unfortunately, the United States and the West and the Western media have adopted the Israeli narrative.
Are you winning this war?
Our steadfastness is itself a victory. For us to kill their soldiers while they kill our civilians is also a victory for the Palestinian cause and for Hamas.
How are you having a victory for your resistance for the cause when so many Palestinians are dying? How is that a victory? Your rockets aren't striking the Israeli cities. You've killed a handful of Israeli soldiers. How are you winning? How is this a strategic victory?
Our people are convinced today that the only way to get rid of the occupation and establish their state is through resistance, like all of the people of the world have done. Just like what the American people did when they got rid of the British occupation, and as the French did when they got rid of the Nazi occupation.
President Obama asked you to be more responsible, to not fire rockets from civilian neighborhoods. What concessions are you willing to make to get this blockade lifted?
We are ready to take all the positive steps, and we have done it before. Let me say it. Let the aggression end.
Get rid of the tunnels. Stop firing rockets.
I'll tell you. Let the aggression end, and the siege lifted, and Hamas and the resistance will not fire rockets on anybody. We are defending ourselves here. End of the line.
You will stop the rockets.
When the Israeli aggression ends, we will stop responding to them.
So let's define what is the aggression that has to stop. Let's be very precise and clear.
Israel has to stop all forms of aggression, missiles, fighter jets, attacks by air, land, and sea. They must open the border crossings and lift the siege. Beyond that, the main issue is to end the occupation and end the building of settlements, because that's the true root causes of this conflict.
A defiant Hamas leader there. As we were listening to our Nic Robertson's interview with Khaled Meshaal, we got this news in from the region.